As I mentioned to you, sales webinars are broken. So how are we going to fix them? That's the key here. How are we going to fix them? And I'm going to show you my method, my proven method to actually monetize your sales. Okay, so it's all about the structure. Okay, so bear in mind, this is not about not so much about like what product you're selling. It's not so much about like who are the attendees that are coming. It's not so much about how good you are as a speaker, whether you are not so confident or very confident or whatever, whether you stutter or stammer. It's not so much about all these things, right? It's not even so much about the content that you have in your webinar. It is about the structure, and this is very, very key, right? It's very, very key. So let's take the example of a house, right? Let's take an example of a house. So in a house, when you're building the house, you've got these foundational blocks. Now, the foundation blocks are ugly things, right? There's mud, there's earth, and especially when it rains, it's an ugly looking thing, right? Now, once the foundation is laid, right, which is a structure, then you can, get the walls, paint the walls, and then do the interior decorating and, put the wallpaper and the carpets and the furniture, and then the house becomes a home, right? But all of that's not going to work if you don't have the foundation blocks, okay? If you don't have those foundations piled in deep and strong to hold the rest of the house. So the structure is like the skeleton of your body, okay? If you didn't have your skeletal structure, you'll just be like a jellyfish, okay? A blob of flesh. Right, so let me share with you the old structure, or what I call the everyday structure that everyone is using right now, okay? And I call it the old way because it is definitely due an overhaul, right? So basically you start with the intro, right? And you introduce yourself or introduce the whatever, build rapport and stuff like that, and the welcome and that sort of thing. And then you immediately go into the problem, right? So this is the typical sales pitch, right? This is the problem, and then once you talk about the problem, then you jump into the solution and say, hey, look, the solution is this, and then comes the offer, right? Okay, I've got this product, you want to buy it, okay? Now the problem here is this: when you present your offer straight away, the customer is not going to buy. The customer, maybe if you've got 10 people, maybe one might say, okay, I'll buy. But the other 9 are not going to immediately buy it, even though you know it's a good offer and they know it's a good offer. They still wouldn't buy it. Why? Because they have got questions that are unanswered. They have got objections that are unanswered inside their head. Okay? So how are you going to work this? So basically what happens is the questions, they have objections, and then you have questions, and if the questions are answered, okay, maybe they might buy. If not, they might not buy. Okay, but the problem is, right? The problem is this kind of system doesn't work anymore because we are now living in this thing called the attention economy. I talk a lot about the attention economy, where attention is very scarce right now. Okay, attention is very scarce right now, and that's why I designed a new way of structure, a new way of pitching called the upside down pitch. Okay, it's also called the objection first formula. And basically what it does is it takes this entire structure and turn it on its head. Okay, it turns the entire thing upside down, right? So why is this so different? And if you look at this, right, which is the usual way or the old way, and you look at this, you will see there's only one difference. And the difference is you handle the objections at the beginning. So I call this the objections first formula as well, OFF, right? Because the way to do it today, because we live in the attention economy, a lot of people don't have time to hang around, number one. Number two is they can be doing so many other things besides listening to the webinar. They could be watching TV at the same time. They could be looking at their phone and being distracted. They could be reading a book. Who knows, right? Who knows what these people are doing when they are listening to your webinar. So what you need to do is you need to hit the objections first, right? And then once you hit the objections, then they are basically will understand that this is for them, and they will understand that this is something where it's easy to accept. Now, it may not make sense right now what I'm saying, but bear with me, stay with me, and I will show you exactly what I mean by objections and why the objections should go first. Okay? So, what you want to do is you want to recognize what all these objections are that of the customer. And I'll cover this in great detail later on. Okay? What these objections are. And then turn those objections into teaching points. Turn those objections into stories. Turn those objections into engaging content that entertains, yet it gives you the credibility and kills the objections, right? So it's not as difficult as it seems. Let me just explain to you, right? So what are these objections? And the objections they come in the form of sales hurdles as well, right? They come in the form of your sales hurdles, which is basically when you look at, how shall I say this, right? When you are trying to make a sale, and you show the customer a product, for example, that is a really great product. It might be even a wonderful branded shoe from Nike, for example, right? They may not buy it immediately because they are objections or questions that they need to know about it, especially if it's a big ticket item. For example, if you're trying to sell a house or a car or something that's worth more than $2,000 or $3,000, right? If it's worth more than $3,000 US, they are not just going to buy it like it's toothpaste or a donut, right? It's not an impulse purchase. They are going to have a lot of objections, and chances are, if you're doing a webinar, chances are you're not selling donuts. Okay, you are selling something that is substantial, it is expensive, and it may actually even mean that there may be a series of interactions that need to happen before a sale is made. Maybe a demonstration is done, maybe a proposal is sent in, maybe a review committee needs to sit down and meet, right? There's a whole variety of things. So anyway, so what are the sales hurdles and how are you going to jump over these hurdles? Okay? Remember, I'm talking about hurdles. But the hurdle is not the finish line. The hurdle is just the sale. Sorry, the hurdle, let me just repeat that. The hurdle is not the finish line. The hurdle is just an objection. The finish line is the close, is the sale, right? It's the signing of the dotted line, it's the credit card payment going through. That is the sale, right? I'm talking about hurdles now. And if you cannot cross the hurdles, you will never make the sale. Okay, so what are these hurdles? The easiest way for me to explain hurdles is actually to give you a scenario. Okay, so imagine you're going to go on a trip, right? A long trip. Maybe it's about 8-hour or 10-hour flight, right? It's a long flight, and you've got 5 bags to check in. How many bags? 5 bags to check in. You check in the bags and you get on the flight, right? Now, just imagine the flight was actually the worst flight you ever had, right? There was air pockets, there was turbulence, there was crying babies, vomiting, people vomiting beside you. You could not sleep and you were fearful for your life that the plane is going to crash, okay? But somehow the plane landed and you got off the plane, and now you're tired, you're cranky because you didn't sleep, and you need to you want to get to your hotel room as fast as possible. You go to claim your baggage, and one by one your bags start coming. Okay, one by one your bags start coming. Bag 1, bag 2, bag 3, bag 4. Bag 5 is not there. So you wait 5 minutes, you wait 10 minutes, right? and the bag is not there. Now you're really tired and you're thinking, should I go to the hotel or should I stay here and wait for my bag, right? So that's the question I would ask you. Are you going to go to the hotel and just forget about that bag? Or are you going to stay like, heck no, this is my bag and I'm not leaving this airport until I get all 5 bags, or I go and make a complaint at the airline office and make sure I get compensated for it, right? So chances are, if you are like me and just about everyone else that I asked this question, everybody will stay to collect their bag, right? They will not want to go to the hotel with just 4 bags. Even though they're tired, they don't mind being tired and they will still wait. Now imagine these 5 bags, right? These 5 bags are like the 5 hurdles inside your customer's head, right? There are 5 hurdles that you need to cross over. And even if one, let alone more than one, even if one of them is not answered, there are 5 questions they may have. And if just one of those questions is not answered, you will not make the sale. All right, you will not make the sale. Okay, let's go into hurdle number 1. So hurdle number 1 is actually you. That's right, you as a salesperson, you as the speaker, you as the communicator, you as the ambassador for your product or your brand or whatever, right? You. And there must be some kind of chemistry, there must be some kind of rapport when they see you on screen, when they hear your voice, when they hear about your experiences, when they hear about your background. There must be some connection, right? They must not be turned off by you, because if they're turned off by you, all the other hurdles doesn't make a difference, because you're just gonna not want to deal with your product, yourself, or whatever else around it is. Okay, that's hurdle number 1. Now, if you cross hurdle number 1, you have now hurdle number 2, which is your company. For example, your brand. Okay, the brand of your company. Is it a good brand? Does it have a bad reputation, right? And if your reputation of your brand is good and your company is good, maybe you're small, maybe you're big, right? Big company, small company, who knows, right? But if you're a small company especially, then they want to know who your partners are. Are you partnered with Microsoft? Or are you partnered with a no-name company? Who are your affiliations? So for example, if the company is part of a larger network, if an airline is part of a bigger group of airlines, or if a small company is part of a bigger group of a public listed company, right? This kind of stuff, right? And sometimes even if you're, for example, if it's in the old days, right? When there were family run businesses, they will actually even see like who is your father or who is your mother, right? They want to know like the affiliations, and if the affiliations are good, then they want to know more, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that your company, people you're associated with, your employer, your business partners, even the country you're from, many things can actually maybe turn people off or turn people on, right? Depending on how you project it and how you deal with it, right? So assuming you hit hurdle number 1 and it's fine, and hurdle number 2 is also good, then you've got hurdle number 3, which is the actual product you're trying to sell, right? Because they will say like, okay, how good is this product? Like, I like this guy or I like this girl, and the company seems to be reputable, great. But you know what? Is this product really for me? Is this product really something that I like, okay? Or something that will be useful for me? And actually, how does this product actually compare to the product I'm using right now, for example, right? So if I have a vacuum cleaner at home and now you're trying to sell me a new vacuum cleaner, right? That I'll be like, yeah, how does it work? Like, why should I buy another one when I already have one, right? Or if they haven't got one, they will look at all the competitors in the marketplace, right? And they say that, why should I buy your product when there are so many competitors who are offering different features and services, right? So it's all about the product. That's hurdle number 3. Now, hurdle number 4. And you know what? Hurdle 1 to 3 is, most people stop there. Okay, most people stop at hurdle 1 to 3. the excellent salespeople, the people who want to actually make sure that the sales webinar is going to be awesome, they know about hurdle number 4 and hurdle number 5. So what are hurdle 4 and hurdle 5? Hurdle 4, as you can see, is the buyer's internal doubts. So see, your buyer, imagine, right? Imagine for a minute that you're not the seller, right? Imagine for a minute you're not the presenter. Imagine for a minute you are the audience. Okay, you are the buyer. Imagine for a minute, right? You are the receiving end of this. And someone says to you that, you know what, let me share with you this money-making scheme where I took, this product, I used this product, this investment product, and I made $10 million in 10 days, for example. And if you believe that person, and you know that they really did that, right? That person really made $10 million in 10 days. It's legit, it's proven, and everything is right. That means hurdle number 1 is done. Hurdle number 1, you trust the guy. Okay. Hurdle number 2, you trust the organization and whoever else that person was affiliated with. Hurdle number 3, you look at the product and you think the product is fantastic, right? But still, you will say, or at least I would say, or most people would say, you know what? That guy can do it because he is him. But I don't think I can do it. I'm not good enough, right? I'm not good enough to do this whole thing. I'm not capable, right? So it is again talking about hurdle number 4 is really your buyer's self-limiting beliefs. Okay, they have got internal beliefs they will never tell you about, and you have no way of finding. Even if you're so engaging over the webinar, they will chat like crazy with you, maybe, or whatever, but they will never tell you that they are not confident, that they don't know how to ride the bicycle, right? They want to buy the bicycle, they think it's shiny and new, but they're afraid that they might not be able to ride the bicycle. They don't know how to learn how to ride the bicycle. They're not confident, for example, right? So it's buyer's internal doubts. Now, assuming you can even overcome hurdle number 4, which is the buyer's internal doubts, there is one more doubt that will stop everything in its tracks, just like the 5 bags, right? 5 bags, bag 1, bag 2, bag 3, bag 4. Now we are in hurdle 4, okay? If you don't handle number 5, there's no sale. Okay, the sale will not happen. The sale will only happen when all 5 hurdles have been crossed. And hurdle number 5 is the buyer's external doubts. Okay, this, for example, is very different from the buyer's internal doubts. So the buyer's internal doubts is all about himself or herself, right? All about like, I can't do it, or I'm not capable enough. I don't think this is right for me. I know I want to do it, but I don't think I'm capable, right? That's buyer's internal doubts. Now, the external doubts are different because it is related to the situation the buyer is in right now. So, for example, if they are if you're trying to sell something to a guy, maybe he might say, oh no, I love it, but you know what? I don't think my wife will like this at all, right? So he has a doubt that his wife will appreciate it, and if he actually buys it, he will get into a conflict with his wife because he knows she may, or not he knows, but he suspects that she may not like it, right? So, or for example, if you are selling a B2B product, and in a B2B webinar, and you're trying to pitch something in a company, right? So the HR person who maybe is in the audience, and you're trying to target HR people, they might be very interested, right? And they may think that they can run this particular product. For example, it's a software, a HR software, people management software, right? They might think that it's great for the company, but you know what? They'll think, oh no, I don't think my CFO is going to like this product. I don't think I will be, I'll be seen as stupid, or I will be seen as people will laugh at me, or they will shoot my idea down. So you know what? It sounds great. Hurdle number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 is done, and then hurdle number 5 gets you stuck. You cannot make the sale. You cannot go forward anymore towards the sale. So my webinar formula, right? The storytelling formula covers all 5 hurdles. Okay, and this is the most complete system that will actually take you from 0 to hero. Okay, that's the most complete system, because most salespeople, they stop at hurdle 1, 2, and 3, and that's it, right? They stop at hurdle 3 because they think, heck, you like me, you like my company has got a good brand, we've got reputation and credibility, and the product is great. So what's the problem? You should buy, right? And they bang their head against the wall, and they keep following up with the customer and trying to pester the customer to buy on something that they don't understand, that it is nothing to do with them, it's nothing to do with their product, it's nothing to do with their company. It's all to do with what the buyer is going through inside the buyer's head, right? Inside the buyer's family, or the buyer's company, or the buyer's external situation that they are in, right? So very important. Hurdle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 needs to be covered before the sale happens. Okay, this is the end of module 1. I will see you in the next module.